Well, welcome, friends, and I am so excited to be here today with you. I think I have a great show planned out for you, and I hope you really like it. Did you know that only 3% of the population creates a written plan to get their goals done in life, to do the things that they want to do? That 3%, I don't think coincidentally, corresponds with the 3% of the most successful people in life. Now, what does that mean? Success is different for everyone. So let me just qualify it for the purpose of being an author and helping your book become successful for you, whatever that means. I think that's why we need to articulate it and write it down. They say that 3% of the people control half of the world's assets. So maybe more assets is something that you're interested in. For me, I'm not so concerned about assets. What I am concerned about, and the goals that I set for myself, these goals are more about you. This is about helping you succeed. This is about helping you create a book that you love, that will work and be in the marketplace just for you. So, how do we do these things? What do we do? How do we write it down? Well, today I thought I would just go into that a little bit more with you. My name's Lori Raupe, and I am the host of this show, and I'm also the founder of the Butterfly Publishing Company. Let me share with you what we do just a little bit. We help authors three ways. We do consultant work so that you, at any stage of your book journey, get off on the right start or learn how to launch your book or be a part of us helping you launch your book or ongoing promotions. We do those kinds of things to help authors as a consultant. I also have a wonderful membership group that is all about creating that perfect book for the right time for you. And then, of course, we have some other ways. I do one-to-one work with authors, which is much more intensive and hands-on with you walking you through. Well, if you're like me and you believe that there is one book that helps you create exactly what you want to create, that helps you get the right frame of mind, there is really only one biblical truth that I believe we can find within the scriptures. And when it comes to goal setting, that would be in Habakkuk. And that is write down your vision. So how do we get things done if we don't have a vision and if we don't write it down? I think these are key elements in getting your book done. So when I was thinking about what to create for you over this next 12 months or so, I wanted to hit on all the different aspects of the book journey, from idea all the way through getting it done and keeping it promoted and getting it top of mind with people, finding new people that you can make an impact with. Here on this show, I named it Your Message Matters. And the reason why it is Your Message Matters is because your message matters. I really believe that we each have a purpose. I just realized that I am going to start the recording. There we go. I really know that each of us has a message within us, a purpose within us. I do believe that that is God-given. And the reason I named this show Your Message Matters is because each of us create a message based on who we are within, how God planned us to act out these purposes, how God really allows us to have a story of impact. This is so true of, I believe every person I've ever known stood for something. Now, not everybody stands for the same things, but maybe we have the same basis. But I believe the way we act it out is different for each of us. And that's what we talk about on this show. So today I wanted to focus on, how do we write out the vision? How does this happen, and how can we do it so that we can take our idea and make sure it lines up, and then you have a written path forward? So I created just a little system called WRITE, and that's WRITE, which is the right way, if you will, to write a book. Well, I don't know if it'll be your right way, but lean in a little bit and see if this works for you. Well, they always say, when is the best time to plant a shade tree? Well, it's obviously before you need shade, right? Well, I believe that this is true of our books. When is the best time to write a book? Right now, while people are looking for your message. Your message is unique. It comes with your experience, and it comes with a unique perspective that only you have. Your voice is meant to make an impact with other people. And I believe that is divine. So, when is the best time to write a book? Well, probably yesterday, because you've probably been thinking about it for a while. When is the best time to write a book? Absolutely. The best time has already passed. But when is the second best time? That's right now, my friend, and you are never too late for God's perfect timing. So, if you want to write a book, this all ties together and begins with you writing down the vision. So, if you take your experience, your unique spin, your unique personality, your unique voice, and take a subject that you know about and create a book based on that, then we really do have the perfect scenario to make the perfect book to help you create that perfect storm, if you will, in the marketplace. So did you know that the industry trends very much towards these authentic voices in certain times where people are looking for these amazing and incredible stories for inspiration? And these inspirational stories are your stories that could be fiction, but most likely are based on true stories and impact. Well, so what happens? You pick your unique niche, that thing that you want to focus on, and the industry supports these kinds of books in a great way because people are looking for them. They want to be inspired. They want to learn from people who already know what they need to know and what they're looking to find in the solutions you can provide within the pages of your book. Now, digital opportunities are everywhere, not just on Kindle, going through Amazon, but so many other unique ways that you can use your story to make an impact in the world. Even audiobooks are easier and easier to produce than ever before. But what I can tell you is authenticity wins. People are not looking for perfect people. People are looking for people just like them, only people that have been through what they've been through. I think, according to the recent studies, the authors that really talk about different kinds of businesses that are successful within their life, or other kinds of how-to books that help other people with health challenges or any kind of life struggles, really, really are wonderful in the marketplace, and they can be used beyond the book itself. Did you know that a recent study revealed that people who write books based on their business practices are earning 1.5% to every dollar? That means for every dollar you spend on getting your book done, you earn $1.25 once it gets into the marketplace. That's if you do it right, of course. But what I've learned about this whole book process is a lot of people have limiting beliefs. And so often they can talk themselves into writing a book and out of writing a book just as easy as anything. I mean, it just blows my mind. And it all boils down to you believing in your story. And I don't know if you're like me, but I didn't always believe in my story. But once I started realizing the value that God had placed within me, that He wanted me to tell His story through my life, that changed everything. That absolutely changed everything. I felt it shift within me. I didn't any longer feel like this was my book to produce. It was our book to produce together. And that made a huge difference. So if you're a person of faith like I am, make sure that you include all of the things that are so, so important to include within your book. But realize that your purpose is the most important piece of this equation. Your purpose to live out that experience that God has given you, those lessons that you have learned, that you could share with somebody else who's looking for them. That's where the rubber meets the road. It is so, so important. I remember back in the day, I was really big on affirmations, and I do believe reciting affirmations based on scripture for me worked really well. But that wasn't everything. That was not everything that I needed, because reciting something every day doesn't get it from your head to your heart, does it now? Well, for me, it didn't. For me, it didn't. I had to really believe it and feel it. And so just reciting something didn't quite do it for me. And I remember listening to one of the top personal growth gurus in life, and he was talking with a lady who was about my age, and she really did not feel as if she was enough in life. She didn't feel like she had done enough. She didn't feel like she was enough. She didn't feel like she had accomplished enough. She just felt lack in her life. And for some reason, when I saw that interview that they had with her, I sort of felt the same way. And I thought, but I have accomplished some things. And I truly do believe that it is not within us that we have to feel perfection. It is not within us that we should feel that we are the perfect person to do the perfect story, because it isn't about perfection at all. It is about a purpose that you have, that God gives you. And I remember after watching that video, I put into my affirmations, I am enough. I am enough to do what God has placed in my heart. And when I would say that, tears would well up in my eyes every single time. And I got to a place where I could say that with confidence. I am enough. And I know that God has given me a purpose to fulfill in this lifetime. And maybe more than one. But right now, I was focusing on one purpose. And I think that that's kind of what we have to do. If we get too scattered with too many purposes in our life, we don't get any of them done well. Well, that evolved. that evolved to a much deeper realization within myself. And that went way back into my childhood where I really never felt like I was good enough. Now, this is no reflection on my parents or anybody else. It's just the way I was wired, I believe. My parents were good parents. They loved my brother and they did the best they could. I do think my mom was perfectionistic, and I believe that she always wanted my brother and I to look just right and to do the right things. And of course, kids don't. And so I always felt like I was falling short. But when I came to the realization that not only am I enough today as I sit here, but even that little girl that didn't feel like enough was enough. So I could wholeheartedly start saying to myself that I am enough and I have always been enough. And again, I went through this tearful time where I couldn't even say it. I definitely didn't feel it. But let me share with you, you are enough. Your story is perfection within your heart, and somebody needs to hear it. So let me go through a very quick frame. Yeah, I'm calling it the right framework that might help you. So these are the things that I believe that you need to take into consideration when you write out your vision for your book. So let's break this down. The W is, why are you writing this book? You really need to know what you're trying to accomplish and why you want to tell your story and what story do you want to tell and how are you helping people. Any business in the world, including books, is a solution to a problem. Even a fictional book, it is an entertainment, right? So the person that buys a book is looking for entertainment. So your book could fulfill that problem that they have and create a solution. In fiction, it's not quite like that, right? There's a lot of reasons why you might want to write a book and whatever you might lead that reader to. So what is your why for writing the book? Is it to inspire? Is it to teach? Is it to leave a legacy so that one day you look back and say, I changed some people's lives? Write that down. It will keep you motivated as you focus on what you're trying to achieve. I think so often the reason why our books get on the back burner is we don't feel an intensity as to why we are writing the book in the first place. What do you want as a result of writing your book? I think so often it's really hard for people to write down what they want, and especially so of people of faith because they don't want to be selfish or self-centered or lack humility. And all of these things are the things that swirl around in our heads and create limiting beliefs. So write out why you are writing your book, because that will keep you motivated and keep you focused on all of the steps after that. So once you have the why you're writing your book, now is the R. What is R? R is a reader profile. You must develop your reader profile. This is a marketing principle. If you don't know who is looking for your book, who you want to impact, you will have a very hard time finding them, and they will never find you. That's just the fact of it. They're not going to just like miraculously, well, maybe if God directs them, of course. But I think you have an obligation to help your reader find you. So what is your perfect fit reader? What do they look like? And of course, we always say the person you are best able to impact is somebody just like yourself before you've learned what you've learned today. What are they struggling with? What do they want to feel? What do they want to know? What do they want to do after reading your book? So often I will tell authors, envision your reader closing your book after they've read the whole thing. And what is it that you hope for them? What is it that you hope for them at the end of them reading your book? This is making a book reader-oriented. We all love telling our stories and envision a book all about us. But without that transformational through line, without you really considering your reader from the beginning, not just at the end and trying to market once you've got it done. No, you have to think about that reader, the audience, the person you're trying to impact from the very beginning. Then, what about the next step? So I is creating an implementation timeline. This is setting realistic goals and schedule to get your book done. Maybe you want to get one chapter done a month. Maybe you want to write 500 words a day. It doesn't really matter what your goals are. What does matter is creating small steps that lead to big wins. So maybe you want to write a chapter a month. That's a perfect goal. There's nothing wrong with it. Say you have 10 chapters that you want to look at. Creating your outline and deciding what those chapters look like is a great path to getting it done. But create an implementation timeline to help you stay on track. And if you get behind, no worries. You just make the adjustments along the way. We all have to adjust our schedules from time to time because we never know what kind of things are going to come along our way. The T is tools and resources. Tools and resources will help you get your book done. And what I'm talking about is things like maybe working with me. In some kind of way or fashion, you want to find a guide that will help you. There are many in the world, and I would be honored to help you, not just on this show, but beyond the show. Sometimes you only have this show to work with. And if that is the case, wonderful. I'm happy to have you here. But make it a commitment week after week to be here to learn, but then put things into practice. There might be other tools that you're going to want to use. Things like edit tools or marketing tools or CRMs or any kind, CRM meaning customer relations management tools. There's many kind of tools that you may need along the way. We talk about those in the groups that I lead, but also we talk about them here. Identify the tools that you want to use, and sometimes they come with like free tests for 14 days or whatever. Do that strategically. If you find a tool that you think you might need at some point, make a note of it. And if it has a free timeline that you could use it to test it out, do it in a timely fashion. You may not need that free trial period right now, but you may need it once you get your book done. So make a note of the tools that you want to use along the way. You won't use all tools all of the time, right? And so keep a list of the tools and the resources that you might want to use. And then the E for write is an execution plan. Map out each of the key phases. Writing is one phase. Editing is one phase. Creating your cover or having someone do it is another phase. Setting your book up for success in the publishing world is another phase, and so is ongoing promotion. All of these phases need an execution plan. So let me know what you think. And I have a free gift for you if you're interested. That is, please reach out to me. I've created a worksheet behind this write system to help you start your writing off on a great first step, if you will. It doesn't cover everything, but it does give you so much to think about as you're planning your book journey. I am so grateful that you are here. And you can connect with me on Facebook is the best place. I do have a group on Facebook called Write Your Book Now, Authors Helping Authors. And within that that group, it's a group of people who are working on books or have their books done, or they just want to support other authors. So please go join the group, introduce yourself, tell people what your book is about. Because I really believe that marketing starts in the very beginning of your book journey. Right from the get-go, you need to start letting people know that you're writing a book and bring people along your journey. I think if you do these simple things, you will be so excited about how your book turns out. Having these different mindsets of knowing with full conviction that you are meant to write a book to help people. I think just starting there is the biggest thing you can do that will help you keep the right mindset along the way. I know one thing I did early on in my journey was I had a picture of somebody that I thought would be my ideal perfect fit reader. And every day as I sat down to write, I looked at that vision of a person and thought, wow, if one day that person could come to me and say, I've read your book and it made a difference, oh, I would just be so grateful. And that is exactly how the journey went for me. So maybe you're a visual person. You can create just not only a written plan, but put some pictures in it. Make it fun and create something that will keep you motivated. Motivation is one of those things that I believe starts with a mission that you have within your heart. So go ahead, join me on Facebook. Let me know that you liked this particular show. I would love it if you would. And also, if you want to connect with me, I'll make sure that there are resources available for you. I do have some free things that I would love to share with you. So reach out and let me know. And if you want the worksheet for this lesson, I'm more than happy to share it with you. Please reach out and let me know. In the meanwhile, keep writing. Your message matters. It truly does. There are people waiting for your book. So you better get it done fast because you want to make sure that you're making the impact and living a purposeful life just the way God would have it for you. So thank you and God bless.